People, gerrymandering is a sin, and it's a sin of those that are in positions of authority. Republicans do it, Democrats do it, everybody does it. And it needs to stop. I say that because I have seen district lines drawn, and in particular in California, that look like that look like jigsaw puzzles. I honestly mean that, jigsaw puzzles. If you have the opportunity, you need to take a look at your own districting maps wherever you live, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, especially if there is any type of a diverse population. I want to see what Mr. Perez and Mr. Ellison are going to do about this situation in Georgia. Now, during the presidential campaign, it was thought that Georgia could potentially be in play. And they were pretty much right. Georgia actually should have been in play, given the minority population that's situated in Georgia. Now, as far as the presidential race was concerned, maybe the Republican candidate, Mr. Trump, would have won if the districts were drawn fairly. But as far as the state Senate races were concerned, there would have been a sea change as far as the makeup of the legislature if the districts were drawn properly. But as usual, those in power decided that, and I'm speaking about the Republicans now, they decided that the races were too close as far as Democratic candidates were concerned, and in particular in the black communities. So what they did was they redrew the lines for 2014 and 2016 in order to keep Republicans in their offices. Now they're doing it again because of the closeness of the races. This should be illegal. And I don't know why there are not more and more lawsuits regarding the racial, okay, not political, but racial gerrymandering of these districts. Here's a story that Roland Martin did regarding the gerrymandering in the state of Georgia.
Speaking of elections in Georgia, Republican majority state Senate is set to vote on a bill passed by the House that would redraw 9 of their districts in an effort to protect their majority. If the bill passes, it would redraw the lines for 8 Republican-held seats in 1 Democratic district. The changes would reduce the number of people of color in districts where these Democratic-leaning voters have threatened to oust Republican incumbents. Critics say the move is illegal under the Equal Protection Clause, which bars states from using race as the, quote, predominant factor in redistricting. Joining us right now via FaceTime from Columbus, Georgia, Democratic State Representative Carolyn Hughley, the Minority Whip Representative Hughley. I got to ask you, this is by, and we've seen this around the country, by packing black folks in districts, removing them out of Republican districts. This is an effort to make sure that they're not going to boot that Republican out of office.
Let me first say good morning, and you're absolutely right. When we pack African-American voters into districts and remove them from competitive districts, that's the result that you're going for.
And when you talk about that, the motivation here, I mean, they're very blatant with what they're trying to do.
Yes, they came out with the bill in 2 days, and they voted it out of committee. There was no public comment. There's no explanation as to why they
No discussion?
No discussion. No public comment from any member of the public. They brought it into committee. They voted it out. It was on the floor the next day, and the Republican majority voted for these new map changes.
How do you stop it?
Well, of course, it's going to go to the Senate, and we're hopeful that members of the public will express their concern about it. I don't know if we can stop it with numerical numbers because the Republicans are in the majority, but we will have to have all of our options open and look to the courts to find relief for this kind of activity. This is a continuation of what they did in 2015. 2015, they tweaked these districts, and our candidates did such a great job. They almost won in 2016, so they came back to tweak some of these districts again. So it's a testament to the fact that our leader and our team here in Georgia had good candidates, and we don't mind running in competitive districts because we'll put our people out there and we'll put them to work. But what this amounts to is moving the goalposts every time we get close.
All right, then. We so appreciate it, Carolyn. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So, again, this has got to stop. Now, I don't know if, well, I do know. You can't put a referendum on the books in order to stop this type of thing from being done. There's no referendum that I can think of because the election boards pretty much, between the election boards, the legislatures, and the governor, they pretty much have full power as far as the drawing of lines. So it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, for the people to have a direct weigh-in. But you can challenge how the lines are drawn by going to court and making your case regarding the criteria used in drawing those lines. And that's, I guess, where this is going to end up. But there needs to be something done about gerrymandering. People that live in their specific geographic area deserve the right for representation by the people that they want to represent them. And if areas change, and areas change all the time, and different candidates run, there should be no bias as far as trying to maintain a person's political power by gerrymandering the lines. If that person can't make a solid claim to the population within the area that is drawn properly, I'll say, then they should not remain in power. All right? It's just as simple as that. So, Georgia, I hope that you get the attention that you deserve from Mr. Perez and Mr. Ellison, so that either lawsuits are filed if the legislature and governor are successful in redrawing those lines again, as Ms. Hewley said, further moving the goalposts. All anybody really should want is fairness in our elections. If the elections are fair, let the chips fall where they may, and whoever runs the best race should win. But they should not be given an artificial boost by removing potential voters from their ranks as far as having the ability to vote for them. Simple as that.